Nerdrotic.com.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner. My name is Gary Beekler, and I am live in San Francisco, California. Lovely San Francisco, California, where I am looking forward to my parent-teacher conference tomorrow because my son was given an entire class day dedicated towards white privilege. Yes, my special needs son was told he needs to do better. He needs to do more. And me and that teacher are going to have a little chat tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. That should be fun. Greetings again, everybody. Welcome to the Nerdrotic Nooner, where you are the guide of the show. You tell me what we want to talk about. Now I'll set the table with a few topics here. And of course, Kathleen Kennedy gave us a gift. She pulled a Bob Iger and was strangely honest with her ignorance towards the Star Wars fandom, towards fandom in general, and proof that women can be just as dumb as men. And although we believe women, we also believe that they can be as dumb as us. And we can be dumbasses. Oh yeah, that's for sure. Myself included. So listen, when I first heard that Disney was going to buy Star Wars, I didn't like Disney buying Marvel. I wasn't against that from day one. And I didn't like the idea because I knew that we'd probably get some pretty good movies and the comic books would suffer. And that's exactly what's happening. But I was completely for Disney buying Star Wars when it happened. I was like, yeah, sounds great. On paper, it looked fantastic. They did a great job with Star Tours. They seem to have been connected for a long time. And when I heard Kathleen Kennedy's name, when she was going to be running the show, I thought it was perfect. I mean, on paper, it looked great. But some people, a lot of people, have limits to their talent. They have a ceiling. I know there's a lot of talk about glass ceilings, and it's great when they're broken by talented women. We would love to see more talented women in Hollywood, but the word talent has to come first. Talented before anything else. People of talent. So, there's a lot of hindsight with this, a lot of Monday morning quarterbacking with this, and that's fine. I think a lot of people thought Kathleen Kennedy would be good, but it became clear a long time ago that she was not the right person for the job. If you are working somewhere, and as a matter of fact, the last couple of jobs I had, we were going through bosses every year, and it was a crappy environment, and I ended up leaving that place because you have to get used to a new boss every time. And I know it's different with film directors, but then again, it's not really. And when you don't have a plan, they rushed to Star Wars, and they needed to rush because they paid so much money for it. So they needed to get a return, but they didn't need to make a new trilogy right away. They could have just made toys. And honestly, if you look at the Mandalorian, if you started small like that, that would have probably been the smarter move. But you know what happened. But it became clear when she fired directors 70% into the shooting of Solo, that should have been the day Bob Iger dropped the hammer on her. Period. I mean, we thought you were going to do good. You thought you were going to do good. I'm sorry it's not working out. You're incredibly rich. You have an amazing internet movie database, an IMDb. You've been attached to some of the greatest films of all time. Don't get too discouraged. Don't be down on yourself. You're a very successful person, but we need somebody in here who's going to be the proper leader for Star Wars, the right leader for Star Wars. And somebody who's going to help grow this brand and keep the fandom together. But aside from just the Solo incident, what's happened to the fandom is purely on Lucasfilm, 100% on Lucasfilm. And I think even the access media is starting to wake up to the fact that fandoms don't split themselves. We are just reactions to what happens. We are just the customer. That's all we are. We're just the paying customer. And, when a group gets this large in unison saying, enough, we want to keep giving you money, but stop using our franchise as a political platform and a toy for you to experiment stuff with, because it does mean more than just, it's more than just a property. Unfortunately, Disney, the company I thought who would be the one who would respect George Lucas's legacy, a legacy that I don't think even George Lucas respects. I don't think they are aware of what Star Wars is. It's part of the American fabric now. It's as American as hot dogs and baseball. Star Wars. And now it's worldwide. And it's something bigger than Disney. And they need to treat it that way, and they're not. They just treat it as another property. And the Skywalker saga is just another Star Wars story that we can put in the Skywalker saga section of our Disney Plus, which may not be doing as well as everybody thought. And that might be the fault of the Mandalorian. I have been very busy doing some research on something, and while I was doing that, I was kind of getting a feel of what the response to the Mandalorian really is. Now, within Star Wars fandom, it's very positive for the most part, and it seems to be, a lot of members of the Fandom Menace like it, including myself, but I like it differently. I like it objectively. I don't like it. I'm not a Star Wars fan anymore because of what happened. But I can say it's good and I can enjoy it, but it's not going to make me want to, dive back in and buy Star Wars stuff and get a 1/6 scale Mandalorian Hot Toys action figure from Sideshow. Not going to happen. I'm not giving them a penny. It's bad enough that I'm giving them money for Disney Plus. But it's good. It's good. But how is it playing outside of the fandom to the normies? I mean, is it really catching on? We're never, this is going to be new to Disney fans, but Star Trek fans are well versed in dealing with CBS All Access. And, you're going to hear, Parrot Analytics, you're going to hear about them. They're an analytics firm that judges the popularity of a television show based on how many times people talk about it on Facebook, Twitter, how many times people share it. But what they do is they count the positive and the negative. And they called Star Trek Discovery one of the most popular streaming shows in the world. So I'm sure you're going to hear that about The Mandalorian, but we're not going to get any real numbers. And guess what? If the numbers were great, say if 10 million people watched The Mandalorian, Disney would tell us. They would absolutely tell us. They would not keep that secret. Even Netflix has come out sometimes with some of their numbers when they've been through the roof, but for the most part, they hide them. And this is something that hopefully the streaming war will change. Once these services get more competitive, one is going to have to come out and start doing what YouTube does, putting those views on the bottom. And then we'll really, really know. They're going to have to share them with investors, and maybe eventually they're going to have to share them with stockholders. But right now, we're not going to know. So they're going to tell us everything is doing great, and they got 10 million subscribers, which I don't doubt at all, especially since you're counting Verizon. But that's not really 10 million subscribers now, is it? That's not 10 million paying subscribers. What percentage? I have no idea. CBS All Access famously has said they have 8 million subscribers, but they were also including Showtime, the people already subscribed to Showtime, and they also had a free trial that they were counting, and they were also counting subscribers who had canceled their subscription, but they still had their information with CBS. So CBS just called them paused subscribers. So expect the same crap from Disney Plus, but we're never really going to know. But you can find out how popular something is outside of fandom. You just need to look at other YouTubers, people who regularly cover television, and compare it to something strong. Like if somebody's covering Game of Thrones isn't fair, but if you use another popular weekly TV show that a channel like Emergency Awesome, go see how his videos are doing compared to like Rick and Morty. His Rick and Morty numbers are like 3 times as much as The Mandalorian. My Mandalorian numbers are they're average for Star Wars videos. They're average. They're not brilliant, but they're not crappy. And I think that's kind of what the response is. It's pretty good. But I don't think you do anything Star Wars to get pretty good. That's been my argument all along. Star Wars used to be the gold standard. Now, not all the movies are great, but it's still the gold standard. But not anymore. Now it's the Transformers. It's G.I. Joe, which are, hey, if you like those things, that's great. But they've seen better days, we'll just say. Can we say that? So, Kathleen Kennedy came out, and I will be picking this, both of her, she had a Rolling Stone interview, and then there's a Hollywood Reporter article. I will be making a video picking these things apart, but it takes me, it'll probably take me 6 to 8 hours to make that video. So, we're just going to go over the basic stuff here, because I wanted to talk about it. And she said probably the dumbest thing I've ever heard her say. I'm going to paraphrase here. And our boy Ryan Cannell has done a video on his channel and Geeks and Gamers. Go watch it. She said we didn't have any source material to work with. It was harder for us because we didn't have any source material. If I recall correctly from Bob Iger's book, they tossed George Lucas's treatments. I would call that source material. Would you call that source material? I would call that source material. They had the EU, which they tossed. There was plenty of source material. And that's what they're pulling from, by the way. Apparently, there's going to be some shadows of Dark Empire in The Rise of Skywalker, but we'll have to see. That's according to the Reddit leaks. We don't know that for sure. Because we don't know if the YouTube police are watching. If the YouTuber police are watching, we need to watch every word we say, because whatever I do or our good friend Doomcock does, it reflects on the entire fandom. No, not really. Not really. That's bullshit. Kathleen Kennedy said there was no source material to work off of, which is hilarious. And we'll go over some of the article here, and I want to go over what she when the George stuff came out. But I will have to. I'm on a different computer here. Rolling Stone interview. We will get to Kathleen Kennedy. We will get to her. And greetings, everybody in the chat. Hang on, we'll get to you in just a second. Let me get this pulled up while I can. Something in my eye right there. There we go. All right, now we're going to get back here. I like this. I'm now that I'm used to it, I really like this new setup here. So, welcome, Larry, and thank you for signing up. By the way, memberships are available, and emojis and badges will be ready tomorrow. I just need to make them, and I haven't made them yet, but I will make them. I don't know kind of what, except if anybody has any, what the hell? Dog hair right there. That's awesome. Yes, it's Clown World. It is. Handshot first. Welcome. Robert Fry. Welcome. Maverick. Welcome. Frankie Zen. Welcome. Demonic Bioman. Welcome. Cosmic Squirrel. Welcome. Clip. Welcome. Mike Hunt. Mark Lorzeth. The Modrotic. What's up, buddy? Thank you, Mutated Genome, for signing up. And first of all, I do want to, again, shout out to my good friend, Doomcock, who is about to hit 100,000 subscribers. I told you so, buddy. I told you so. When he and I had a conversation, well, we have a lot of conversations, but we had a conversation over the summer, and the summer was looking pretty dire here on YouTube. They did a major change to the algorithm, and it affected everybody. And things changed. And what I suspect it was after the Steven Crowder incident. And then it's also the ad rates aren't as great. So videos don't get recommended as much. It's just a slower time in general on YouTube. And I said, listen, when fall rolls around, things are going to pick up. We're going to get closer to Star Wars. Kids are going to be back in school. And although that doesn't affect my channel, because my channel's pretty much, the 18 to 49 demo. But it certainly does pick up the traffic here on YouTube, and here we are. Doomcock is about to hit 100,000 subscribers. And he's worked his ass off and he deserves it. And to his critics out there, which you have every right to do, you have every right to criticize anybody here on YouTube. I've just never found it interesting as a viewer, personally, to watch people talk, especially single individuals out. The only time that's ever happened here in the Fandom Menace is when we have been attacked. And then we have to respond. We don't respond to everybody, and I generally don't respond to anybody. It's not worth it to me. But if other people want to, that's great. And sometimes you have to, especially when you're getting slandered out there. And you know, it recently happened to Jeremy, and Jeremy's very good at facing his accusers and cutting them down to size and putting them in their proper place, which he did recently. And we'll watch that video in a little bit because it's hilarious. But there's one person who I will not name who took a particular shot at Doomcock and tried to counteract his sources with his unnamed sources with unnamed sources. And then that guy called his unnamed sources facts. And for all I know, they might be in his head, but I mean, to us, it's not. So you can't say they are, unless you're going to say their names. And I understand why you don't say their names, but I'm just going to say this. I understand now if this person truly does have unnamed sources, I completely understand why this thing is leaking like a sieve, considering the people this person shares his information with. We'll just say that. This person did here. I didn't want to show this. Hang on. We're gonna go to Twitter here. It was yeah. And if you want to go to my Twitter, screw it. We'll give the guy a little love. I usually don't like doing this because I don't want to send any attention his or her way, but screw it. Let's go here. Window. We're going to window capture that. And there we go. Now we can do it. One of these days I'll get a producer, people. Those logos look quite a bit alike, don't they? So this is the Nerd Report. That was their Facebook logo up until very recently. So this is the person calling out Jeremy and Doomcock's credibility. This person co-hosts a show with the known mass flagger of YouTube channels, who I will not name. And yeah, so I mean, credibility is a big thing. I mean, it's especially when you're naming unnamed, or you're not naming unnamed sources, and you're trying to discount one of my friends, hurt his livelihood. And again, you know, you don't hear me or Doomcock or anybody making a video specifically about a person who likes The Last Jedi. Now, EFAP does their thing, but they break down the argument, and that's their thing. But I don't single people out for liking a bad movie. I don't make videos going and then, you know, blurt out that maybe you shouldn't, you know, tell the world your bad taste. Maybe you shouldn't, you know, maybe you shouldn't make a video liking Terminator Dark Fate. That might make you look bad. You don't hear me because I don't care. I don't care. Like all the bad movies you want. I like some bad movies. I like Bright on Netflix. I love that movie. As a matter of fact, I think Will Smith is an idiot for choosing Gemini Man over the Bright sequel, which is now delayed indefinitely because he decided to pick up that stupid movie. But I digress. Yeah, you don't hear anybody specifically calling people out. Do you believe this guy liked The Last Jedi? You know, it's usually in response. Now, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't do it here. You like what you like. You can like The Last Jedi. I have no problem with anybody who likes any of these films and likes Disney Star Wars because, you know what, it's just a movie to them, and I've got bigger things to do in my life. Awesome. Great. Good for you. But specifically picking out and picking on channels. And you know what? Doomcock doesn't complain, and he doesn't make the only time he makes responses is when it gets bad, like that Inverse article where they're calling us the white supremacist wing of entertainment, because so many white supremacists love Star Wars and Star Trek and Doctor Who. There's large groups of them out there. So, and we'll play the Jeremy video later because it's pretty funny. And again, I love when people talk about rumors. I mean, what else are we going to do? What the hell? What do you think YouTube is for? It's for entertainment. I mean, do you think you're an actual news source? Like, I am reliable news, like the mainstream media. Do you think that's why people go? I mean, you know, John Campea, love him or hate him, his fans go to him because they like him, not because of the news he reports. All right. He reports the same crap as everybody else does. You know, it was the same thing at the comic shop. We all pretty much sold the same stuff, but people liked the owner, or the people like Brian, or people like James Sim here in the city. It's about you. Your channel's about you, not the information you report. You know, people like Doomcock. I don't think they really care what information he reports. He's entertaining. He's funny. And that's what you should probably concentrate on instead of concentrating on other YouTube channels. It's really a waste of time. And personally, I don't think any of this is genuine. I think it's very disingenuous. I think it's more about Doomcock's, you know, the growth his channel has had. You think that might have something to do with it? I'm guessing it does. And, you know, envy is a terrible thing. It really does. It stops you in your tracks. You cannot, when you spend so much of your time being jealous and envious. You know, I was like that a long time ago when I was all doped up. I was jealous and envious all the time. And, you know, I was in arrested development. I couldn't move on with my life. You have to flip that around. You have to flip that around and be inspired. Use it as inspiration and be happy for the person. You know, guess what? Doomcock's not sucking away all of your subscribers. He's making YouTube a better place, a bigger place, maybe bringing in people from outside of YouTube. And that's a good thing. And that's hopefully what this channel's doing and other channels are doing. So, I don't know, a little unsolicited advice there. All right. All right, let's get to the chat a little bit here. And again, apologies that the memberships have nothing there. I will work on that. I've just never made an emoji before. I've never made anything small, so I'm sure there's some emoji maker out there that I could find. All I know is Photoshop, and I was self-taught on that. There we got the Kathleen Kennedy article ready to go, but I want to get some chat here. I love how everything is in one place now. This is great. I bitched about it at first, but I like it now. Loquacious Primate, welcome to the Gandalf level. You shall not pass. Dan Kagan for £1.99. Hello, Gary. This is the golden age of mediocrity. It really is. That is the best we're going to get from Disney. The Mandalorian is absolutely the best you're going to get from Disney, and it's pretty good. You know, it's not gonna alter the brand, though. It's not a paradigm shift for the brand. It's just like, okay, we tried one thing, it didn't work. Let's just keep it simple and mediocre our way through this thing. And you know what? A lot of people are going to buy it. A lot of people are going to buy it, but not as many as they could have had. Lost sales is something I'm sure they talk about, not publicly, but I'm sure they talk about. They're aware of the split fandom and all that money that they're losing. Jason M, thank you for the 99 cents. Max Frank for $2. Gary, you sexy, sexy man. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's weird saying that out loud. I mean, I don't see it that way. Speaking of sexy, the Anti-Trekker for $5. I enjoy it, but there is nothing in The Mandalorian for normies. You can't follow the show if you do not know the lore. Hashtag MePoo. Anti-Trekker. We love the Anti-Trekker. Hey, Anti-Trekker. I think you should come back on this Friday. Excuse me. So book it. 5 p.m. Pacific time. Friday Night Tights. Anti-Trekker. Nina Fabiano for $2. YouTube gave me some free super chat credits here. Why, thank you, Nina. And Max Frank, thank you. Welcome to the proto-molecule level. Yes, so I have 3 levels right now. It's a proto-molecule, which is from The Expanse, Geloja, and the Gandalf level. Those are 3 good things in the world. The Expanse trailer dropped a couple of days ago. If you have a chance and you haven't gotten into that show yet, you have a few, about, 3-4 weeks till it premieres. You can binge seasons 1, 2, and 3. It's one of the 2 best shows on television right now. That and The Orville. It's brilliant in every way. And I've seen the first episode of season 4 at New York Comic Con, and it's perfection. It's absolute perfection. All right, we're going to get to a little bit of this. Again, I'm going to pick this apart in a video thoroughly. And I hate to give freaking Rolling Stone any kind of love at all. Because their reporting is these are the scumbuckets who, well, you all know what they ran with a couple of years ago. And, straight up victimized a bunch of kids on a lie. And that is, I don't know how they're still in business. Hopefully they will be gone soon. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy on Rise of Skywalker and the future of Star Wars. What about her future, though? In a digital exclusive from our upcoming Star Wars cover package, Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy discusses the challenges of moving the franchise forward, George Lucas's criticism, and much more. Again, we're not going to go over this entire article, but let's get to this. Jurassic World director Colin Trevorrow was slated to write and direct Episode 9 before you brought J.J. Abrams back in. Is this final entry in the trilogy a particularly hard nut to crack? Every one of these movies is particularly a hard nut to crack. There's... Oh, God damn it. Oh, frack you. There's no source material. There's no source material. We don't have comic books. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers who get together and talk about what the next iteration might be. So you didn't have an outline of the trilogy. You didn't make a basic outline of the trilogy. And you could have based it on anything. So you wanted to make something original, but you wanted to make it up as you went. She's responsible for planning this. And I guarantee you The Rise of Skywalker will be The Force Awakens all over again. I guarantee you we will have questions. You know what? Are they going to give any background on Snoke? My guess is they'll talk about Snoke for maybe a couple of lines of dialogue. And that'll be it. We don't have 800-page novels. We don't have anything other than passionate storytellers. Jesus Christ. We go through a really normal development process that everybody else does. You start by talking to filmmakers who think they exhibit the sensibilities that you're looking for. And I would argue that the list is very small. People who really do have these sensibilities. How about the abilities? About these kind of movies and the experience and the ability to handle how enormous a job these movies are. So we try to be thoughtful as we possibly can about making those choices. I would also argue that sometimes people get involved in the normal development process and then realize, oh my God, this is so much more than I ever imagined. So it's pretty common that when you're working on movies, you're not making choices and decisions that necessarily work out exactly the way you want from the get-go. It's been an evolving process with lots of people and lots of opinions. And that's part of your problem right there. There is the biggest part of your problem. Lots of people. That is why you fail. There needs to be a singular creative voice. I'm sure there have been tons of stuff about Kevin Feige's reign that we don't know about, but we don't know about it. I'm sure there's been a couple of delays here and there. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but I'm sure that's happened. But it's, when a director, Kevin Feige has fired his share of directors, but not many. In 21 films, not many. And yes, he's gotten 21 films together in 10 years. And the turnover but forget that. The main problem is you didn't have a plan other than sticking your film full of agenda and hiring a story group that might not necessarily been the best people for the job, but they were the best looking people for the job. And now you have this. And when I heard a Kathleen Kennedy interview recently about The Mandalorian, and she said, she was asked a question about how hard it is to make something similar to these films, and then she said unsolicited, "Oh, but I have say in The Mandalorian too. Our story group does give input to The Mandalorian," sounding like kind of defensive. And I thought that was interesting. I'll put that in my next video. So I feel really fortunate to work with JJ. Blah, blah, blah. Let's get down to George. There it is, right there. All right. Thanks to Bob Iger's new book, we now know in some detail about George Lucas's dissatisfaction with The Force Awakens. And probably The Last Jedi. I'm guessing. What are your feelings about that? Personally, I've had a relationship with George going back to all of us meeting before making Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this is a long 35 years plus that I've known George, and I continue to be very, very good friends with George. And I think there's plenty of examples where people create something that is fundamental to who they are. What is difficult is letting go and watching that thing become something different. And I will get back to that point. She's not wrong on that one. So I think initially that was difficult for George. I don't think he anticipated how hard it would be. And JJ came in with such enthusiasm and frankly reverence for Star Wars and for George, and had to find what was personal for him. He had to make it his own. Every director who comes into a movie has to make something their own. They have to find themselves in the storytelling. And then that's going to become something different, or it's going to be a different point of view. And I think that's all George was reacting to. Maybe, maybe not. He may not agree with every choice JJ made. And I'm going to stop here. I've said from the get-go that while Kathleen Kennedy has been a very poor leader, J.J. Abrams has not gotten as much. He's kind of stayed out of the majority of the criticism. It's been put on Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy. I think J.J. deserves his fair share, and I'll get to that. He may not agree with every choice Rian made. But he appreciates the filmmaking. That's interesting. That I know. And he so appreciates, for instance, what ILM has done in the work for the movies. I'm sure he does. I mean, that's the company he created. And he continually tells me how astounded he is by how far things have come and how now whatever comes into your mind, you can achieve. And he came down, for instance, on The Mandalorian to see what we were doing. He's worked with longtime director Dave Filoni, and he knows series creator Jon Favreau, and he has just like a little kid on the set when he was watching, and yeah, he is kind of a little kid. George is very short. Watching what we were doing. So I see him get caught up in it again, and I think a little bit of regret that he's not on the stage and directing movies and in it still. And that may filter into it as well. I can really speak on behalf of what George is feeling. I can't really speak on behalf of what George is feeling all the time, but I think he's very, very proud of what he created. Of course he is. And to see people on and enjoying it now into almost 2020 is pretty remarkable. So I can speak to letting something go and it being hard. Okay, so when I sold the comic shop, it was extremely hard. It was way harder than I thought it would be. And that's why initially I was supposed to go in there once in a while and talk to people and maybe do events. And I was like, nope, can't do it. I got to break clean. It's almost like getting, I've gone through a divorce. It's like getting a divorce, and I can't imagine what it's like, having to visit the mom for the kids and stuff like that. I was fortunate. We were able to just break clean and never talk to each other again. And that's kind of what I did. I don't even, to this day, the street that goes by my comic shop to come home is it's closer to my house from the gym than the route I take. And I still take the long way. So I don't have to drive by and look at my comic shop for a lot of reasons. For one, it still looks pretty much as it did the day I sold it. That was 6 years ago. They haven't done much with it. And that kills me a little bit, but it's not my store anymore. So, but I have let go. It took a couple of years though. So I can see how George is like that, but this far in, I don't think George is very happy with the direction it's gone, because they threw away his treatments, and I'm not saying they would have been better, but they probably would have been better, because at least it was a plan. At least it was something. They were making this up as they went, and that works for some things. It worked for Iron Man, but it didn't work for The Force Awakens. And The Last Jedi is a mess. First draft, and Chris Terrio is co-writing The Rise of Skywalker, and very interesting. So with Batman versus Superman and the Justice League, they're terrible movies that I own and I like parts of. So I really do want to see release the Snyder Cut, but they're bad. And Chris Terrio is not a very good writer, and bringing him on was unbelievable. But J.J. Abrams, man, he gets his hands into everything. And we got some Star Trek 4 news we're going to get to. God, I'm having trouble talking. I feel out of practice, man. I don't live stream for a couple days. I feel out of practice. Max Frank, again, thank you for joining as a member. Elliot Nelson, $4.99. Hail Gary, between The Mandalorian and new Star Wars video game, I am very conflicted about the franchise. I want to believe things are improved. Here's the reality, Elliot. I don't blame you, and do what you want to do. And thank you for the $4.99. Here's the brass tacks. Here's the bottom line. Disney's not going to change. Star Wars is not going to change. The best you're going to get is they're going to try to make the new trilogy as much of a memory as possible, hoping that someday there'll be a newfound love for it like there was for the prequels, and that could very well happen in about 10 years. But they're coming off of a lot of negative press that they were not expecting a few years ago. Now that we're years into this and it's not going away, they are going to have to do something about it, but they're not going to admit any fault. So that's not going to happen. And for me to go back to Lucasfilm and give Star Wars another chance, they would have to apologize to the fandom. Never going to happen. And I still probably wouldn't go back, because what they did to Luke Skywalker to help elevate that plank of wood that is Rey is despicable. And you know what? It's also bad storytelling. If they would have done it in a way that was interesting, a lot of more people would be happy. But again, they tried to have their cake and eat it too. They wanted to have their political agenda and all the Star Wars fandom happy, and they were shocked at the criticism. So what did they do? They attacked. They attacked a lot of, and it wasn't just Rian Johnson and Kathleen Kennedy, what she said. It's what other creatives, lower level creatives, said on Twitter, drinking those fanboy tears. Let's see if those people are even Star Wars fans 10 years from now. And we're talking, they've alienated Star Wars fans who are around for decades. And I just don't think Disney can do anything to bring any of them back. So what they're going to do is kind of pretend that didn't happen and move on. And The Mandalorian, again, that's what Star Wars is going to be. They're going to play around in the universe. I don't know if they're going to move anything forward for the foreseeable future. Yes, they have a trilogy planned out 3 years from now. They've had a couple of trilogies planned out 3 years from now. And those got changed how many times? They had a Boba Fett movie plan. They had an Obi-Wan movie plan. Everything relies on Disney Plus. And it is my belief that they have vastly overestimated how many people are going to sign up. Netflix, which everybody's calling out for, everybody's predicting their demise, is so far ahead of everyone. It's laughable. They have 140 million subscribers. Disney just touted getting 10, and they hope to have 30 in 4 or 5 years. I mean, and once something hits digital, it's free to a lot of people. Go look at the music industry. How relevant is the music industry anymore? Ever since they transferred, made the transition to digital. Look what it's done to the comic industry. Entertainment, they were able to gatekeep on television. They were able to keep everything. They were able to, once it hits the internet, it's the Wild West. People can copy it, and they're going to lose vast amounts of money on that. And I don't think they end up competing against themselves. And I don't think they're going to be able to do that and survive that. So you're going to see, Disney Plus will survive, but it doesn't look like much to me. I've got it. I've played with it. And my kids are older now. So, honestly, I'm not that big of a Disney fan, but it's for families, so they might like it. It just, I don't know. I look at it compared to Netflix and Amazon Prime, and it looks like CBS All Access to me with better content, but not as much. I mean, it just, it looks like something you'll get bored with very quickly. I don't see it as this major, and the thing is, they're all spread out over Hulu and FX now, and that's got to stop. That's going to be the killer of the streaming wars. Is these other, we have HBO Max and HBO Now. What the hell? Just make them one thing, or people are going to get confused, or better yet, frustrated, and just go to YouTube where they can watch, Bloke's live stream for free. Mutated Genome, welcome as a member. I greatly appreciate it. Caesar JPN. Welcome to the protomolecule level. Rick Johnson, welcome to the protomolecule level. Igard, welcome to the protomolecule level. How am I saying this right? Taku Forts for $4.99. It's okay. I'm here. Okay. Thank God you're here. You can start the show now. What do you think D Plus will take Star Wars now after The Mandalorian? Yoda story, Obi-Wan, Chewbacca origin? Well, after Obi-Wan, that is a very, very good question. Yes, I think they will play around a little bit more in the past. I honestly think they're building up towards a remake of the original trilogy. That's me. And it'll be drastic. And maybe they'll do that. But I think for a few years, they're going to play around with these half-hour TV shows. I could see, and really it's much cheaper to do masked people because you could just get voice work done. I haven't heard a definitive answer, and maybe you can answer it in the chat. Is Pedro Pascal in that costume all the time, or is he just in it some of the time? Thank you, Bat Dog. I appreciate it. He says, hello, Nerdrotic. I love your commentary. It's very good. I appreciate that. So as far as the Fandom Menace, their effect on Star Wars, it's profound. It was profound. If we would have just sat back and not said anything, I don't think The Mandalorian would have happened. I think we would have gotten bad Star Wars story movies. And, listen, I'm glad Solo failed on so many levels because that delays the remake of the original trilogy. But I think part of the reason The Mandalorian exists, I think the Fandom Menace had a factor in that. I think they really wanted to win members of the Fandom Menace over. They will not name them. They will just say, we'll say Last Jedi critics or Russian bots or whatever they want to call us today. I think that had a factor. And Kathleen Kennedy, it just sounds like she's on her way out the door. I agree with the Tom for Midnight's Edge assessment that after the new Indiana Jones film, which nobody wants, Kathleen Kennedy will quietly retire. But she'll just get replaced by, I'm guessing, this is just my guess, somebody who's worked with Bad Robot before. I don't think it's going to be Kevin Feige. I could be wrong. And if it is Kevin Feige and they hand Marvel to somebody else, then kiss Marvel goodbye. Kiss the MCU goodbye. But yeah, we'll see. Kevin Feige's involvement in Star Wars is still a bit of a mystery, but I'm sure we'll find out soon. And it'll be interesting. But I don't know. Is it enough for you guys? Are you willing to come back? I've heard a lot of no's. So I'll keep watching The Mandalorian. The thing is with a new TV show, it doesn't really get its legs under it until about the 4th episode. So we'll know in a couple weeks really what kind of a show this is. It was weird to get a filler episode in the second. It was good. I mean, but it wasn't, I'm not blown away when I'm like, wow, that's really good. And then I kind of forget about it. So Nicholas Horton for $2. Dr. Woke Series 12 rumored for early January. Yes, early January. Whoa, Nicholas, really? That is very interesting. I thought it was going to be late January, but that's interesting news. Well, I better get ready. It's Dr. Woke and the Cringe Lords, by the way. Dr. Woke and the Cringe Lords. And if you didn't hear my rumor, it's a rumor that came months ago. I don't know if it's true or not. But the rumor, I got to be very careful because I've said too much before. So the person I got this from is a trusted source. So what they said, but their access is limited. We'll say they work with the BBC, but not for the BBC. We'll just say that. So they're playing around. The rumor was they're playing around with the idea of messing with the Time Lord's past, and it's very much in line with the Me Too Time's Up era. So they don't want to really connect. There's still people who have a problem with the female Doctor being connected to her male predecessors. Now they're not going to separate her from. I mean, she's still regenerated from Capaldi. God, it kills me to say it. Capaldi to the 13th Doctor, but they're thinking about multiple regeneration cycles, and some might be forgotten, and the Doctor might find out that he's older than he thinks he is, and that he might have originally been a she. Go ahead. At this point, it's like, you know what? Either that's going to happen in Series 12 or we're going to get 10 after-school specials where we're all going to learn the lesson that white men are bad and they are not to be trusted. Stephen Brown, thank you. Welcome to the membership. Darkstar76 for $2. Shame on her. What a liar. Absolute liar. I mean, it's a lie. I mean, there's no comic books. I still do have some Star Wars stuff. I have a complete run of the Marvel Star Wars comic set, a complete run of it. And I have a couple of out-of-print books that have all the Sunday comics, which I loved, by Al Williams. Those were so good. J. Pat. Oh, it jumped on me. Sorry. Oh, wow. It really jumped on me. Darkstar, there we are. Thanks again, Darkstar76 for the $2. J. Pat for 2 Canadian pesos. Just sent you an email. Hail the Fandom Menace. I will check it in just a sec. Thanks, J. Pat. Mr. Roboto for $2. Gary, maybe you should pull a Bob Iger. You might like it. Maybe I'll try. For $2, I will try. Dun, dun, dun. Apollo West for $5. Loving your channel, Gary. Hail to Doomcock. Keep pulling the truth out there. I will. Tim Jacuzzi for $5. Gary, you made a big mistake in your video earlier today. You called Kathleen Kennedy and her other team creatives. I did. I meant to say repurposers. I didn't use the word repurposers. So thank you for calling me out for that mistake. I also made another mistake. There was an editing mistake in that video. Because my editing software crapped out while I was finishing the video, and it literally died like right when the video was done. So that was my old Mac is now retired. And I've got my new Mac here. So Mr. Roboto, I got to go back to Mr. Roboto. Maybe I should try pulling a Bob Iger. You might like it. Inadvertently telling the truth. I hope to tell the truth all the time. I'm an imperfect human being, but, yeah, I don't know. Unless it's a sexual thing, then it might be, something, I don't know. Is that something you try by yourself or with somebody else? I wouldn't personally want to pull on Bob Iger, but if you're into that kind of thing, I'm not judging you at all. Lance Hegath, welcome to the channel. Thank you for the membership. Lubella, Joker sequel news makes me so excited yet nervous. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I'm that excited about it. I loved it as a perfect singular film. And they're not going to bring in Batman. So, I mean, listen, I felt this exact same way before the Joker came out, and it's my favorite movie of the year. So yeah, you know what? It's a victory for good filmmaking. Of course, they're going to make a sequel. It's going to be the most profitable movie of all time. It's like inching towards that. So yes, of course they're going to make it. I hope it's great. I would love to see Joaquin Phoenix go up against Batman though. I would like to see him be a proper Joker. I don't know what else you could do. But you know what? I didn't think they could make an origin, and they blew me away. So what the hell do I know? You know what? And good for Joaquin Phoenix and Todd Phillips, two creative people I like a lot. I knew Todd Phillips would be a great director. He was. He directed some great comedies, and stylistically, the guy is brilliant. So I'm happy for him. And a director who calls out woke culture, I'm going to support every single time. So hail Todd Phillips, hail Joaquin Phoenix. I just saw a James Mangold film this last weekend, Ford versus Ferrari. It was great. Loved it. Christian Bale was brilliant, a fun movie. And yeah, I didn't know much about the history of it, and I loved it. Mrs. Nerdrotic and I went on a date night, had a great time. So go check it out. If you haven't seen it, see it on the big screen. You have to see it on the big screen. The racing scenes are great. James Mangold is kind of a genius. Southeastern Kaiju for $5. Gary, didn't you used to own a comic book store? I bet emojis will be the bestest ever. Endeavor to persevere. Hail. You brought out my favorite line. From my favorite Western, The Outlaw Josie Wales. Buzzard's got to eat. Thank you, Southeastern Kaiju, for joining up. And Daphne Zawadi, thank you for joining up. God, I need badges. Loquacious Primate for $5. Hey, Gary, finally supported you on Patreon. Highest tier. Wow, thank you. I was in the mood after joining. You deserve it, but I may have to reduce super chats a bit. That's fine. You just being here is fine. I appreciate every super chat. You guys keep the lights on. And in a way, I'm sorry. It's not like the old days when I could read every line of the chat, and I used to do that. And I would thank every person who was in the chat before I left the show. Those were fun. But no, just supporting, being here, watching. I appreciate it. But if you're out there and you haven't subscribed, please consider subscribing. The reason it's important that Doomcock hit 100,000, and it's important that Clownfish TV, we want to get them to 100,000, is because you get to talk to somebody at YouTube. So your status goes up a little bit. And if Copa's coming down, folks, and it's going to be serious. I think we'll survive, but I think some channels might not. And it'll be nice to have somebody to talk to. So if you have a YouTube channel out there that you support, but you haven't subscribed to, please do that. They would really appreciate it, and it would help them stay around a little longer. Vince Clortho for $1.99. It takes a village to unite a franchise. It does. And it takes a united village. And a divided fan base is not anything Disney wants. What I do think is happening is I think the attacks on the fan base are going to stop. I do predict that it might take a little time, but I think in a few months' time, you're not going to see that stuff. I personally think Rian Johnson is gone, and that's why he spurged out and made that stupid Knives Out. By the way, I'm not doing a review of that movie. I'm not going to give that guy any more time, any more space. I think that's what he wants. I think he made that movie. Listen, it's going to play well in like Manhattan and here in San Francisco, but it's not going to play well in the Midwest, we'll just say. And I want it to bomb. So I think the best way for it to bomb is to not talk about it at all. I don't want to have any kind of positive effect. I don't want to, maybe because somebody doesn't like us over here that they'll go see the movie. Screw that. I don't think we should talk about it at all. Yeah, screw Rian Johnson. There's also a lot of, people in it's the access media is equally as guilty in this, if not a little more, for stirring the stuff up with the fandom. And then see, they will stir the pot and then insult the pot, and I think that's why a lot of these websites are hurting right now. As a matter of fact, I know that's why a lot of these websites are hurting right now. They've lost they still have influence with the repurposers out there. See, I didn't do it this time, but they don't have the influence they once did over the fandom. And that really does eat at them. But you know what? You get what you deserve, Access Media, because we know you secretly hate the fandom like a lot of creatives do. And we'll get to Alan Moore in a little bit. But Alan Moore is just he's a comic book writer, by the way. He wrote a letter insulting the fandom, and it's pretty normal for him, but that's pretty much how a lot of creatives feel. I hate to tell you. I've heard a lot of discussions behind the scenes. A major creator out there calls all of us mouth breathers. Yet he really likes our money. He really likes spending the money he receives from us, but we're all mouth breathers. Jory Helmanen for 100 Swedish crowns. Super neutral super chat just to test. Right on. Thanks. Franz Jasper. Hail, Gary. I'm a big fan of you and your channel. If you ever decide to come all the way to Brazil, let me know and we'll hang out. And if I do, I will let you know. I would love to go to Brazil. Mr. Roboto for $2 more. A comic store that only sells Image comics. Yes, maybe. No. I will not be selling new comics at all. I would not sell Image comics right now. They're just as bad as Marvel and DC. Screw them. Maybe Dark Horse. I like Dark Horse. There's some comic. I would Alterna. I will sell Alterna comics. So there you go. But it'll mostly be old comic. It'll be vintage comics, vintage toys, some vinyl. There'll be a barber in there a couple times a week. Yeah. We'll have video screens. You'll be able to hang out all day if you want to. There'll be gaming. Yeah, it should be a fun place to hang. Darkstar 76 for $2. That trailer was amazing. I'm free right now. The Expanse trailer was amazing. I got to see it at New York. Damn, that's funny. Hang on. Geek Gangsta for $5. Thank you. I love the avatar. You are the Geek Gangster. Welcome. Thank you. This is so funny. I had a nickname when I was a kid. As a matter of fact, most of my life, I have not been called Gary. I've been called Beak because my last name is Beekler. But people love to switch the letters from my first name and my last name. And now we have an account. I've been waiting for this. Barry Geekler. Barry Geekler for $5. Does The Mandalorian give you any hope for the Star Wars franchise? No. Now the key word there is hope, Barry Geekler. That's awesome. That is so great. That takes me back to, there was a time that bothered the hell out of me, but then I Tyrion Lannistered and you use it as your armor and you don't care anymore. I was a kid. Yeah, that used to piss me off. That would get you smacked. So does The Mandalorian give me hope for the Star Wars franchise? It's undecided right now. At this moment, no. because Kathleen Kennedy's still attached to it. And she's the boss. And a lot of the same people are still there. I need to see more to change my mind on that one. Was it good? Yes, it was good. It was good. And am I like looking forward to the third episode? Like, I can't wait. No. But I would tell you if I was. I thought the first episode was really good. And the second episode was okay. It was good. Neon Shinobi, welcome as a member. Orion 97, thank you, by the way. Proto-molecule level, Neon. Orion 97 for $2. Free super chat. Have a coffee on YouTube, I guess. Cheers. Oh my God, I'm gonna, you know what? One of these days I'm gonna do a live stream from the Pete's Coffee I always go to. The people who work there are awesome. They're really cool. They're very happy. They must drink a lot of their own coffee. They're some of the happiest coffee baristas I've seen. Jack Random for $2. They need to resume the Legends storyline. They need to bring back the entire EU. And I think that would make a lot of EU fans happy. And you know what? Disney Star Wars, you're going to need them. There's going to be some dark times where you need hardcore fans. And the EU fans are the ones that will get you through the dark times. They're the ones who give a crap about your lore, facilitate your lore. Hire some of them. That wouldn't be a bad idea. Inari Fallen for $2. Thank you. Or Inara Fallen. Sorry if I screwed that up. Neon Shinobi for Australian $10. Thank you. I appreciate it. James McDonald joins the proto-molecule level. Well, thank you, James McDonald. Barry Geekler joins the Jaloja level. Jaloja. Thank you. Justin Gould for $10. Gary, have you seen the fan animation of Star Wars Dark Empire on YouTube? I have not. I need to see that. It's worth a watch. Even though Dark Empire brings back the Emperor, it's still better than Disney Star Wars. Yeah, I love Dark Empire, but I never actually considered it canon. So, do they put it to the radio drama? Because they did a full cast audio drama for Dark Empire. Do they put it to that? That would be brilliant. I think it does star Billy D. Williams. And is Anthony Daniels on that one too? Maybe. I'm not sure. Adam Child went crazy with the super chats. We'll get to you in a second, buddy. It just jumped on me again. Alex Moore, Alan Moore's brother. He's the nice one. Adjust my mic gain. Is it too low? Hang on. There. Is that better? Was it too low? Sorry. Thanks for telling me. I hope you could hear. Yes, I saw that EVS is, man, I'm sorry you had to give me a super chat for that. Thank you, Alex Moore. I wish I could refund you. But hang on. Well, I'm going to see if it was too low. Hang on. Oh, no, it's all blasted out. Okay, I gotcha. Hang on. You know what? I think my mic is screwed up, guys, because I've been noticing this on my... I'm going to be listening to myself in a second. Sorry, it's all blasted out. I did not know that. Yeah, oh, God, it looks like it might be time to get a new mic. But I'll load it. Let's see if I can get to the gain. Properties. Yeah, that sounds terrible. Sorry about that. No, I've been noticing that on my videos. There's something going on with the mic. But we'll just have to deal with it now. But thanks for letting me know. That sucks. Loquacious Primate for $5. Do you think Netflix will be able to keep their lead after Disney pulls off their content? Netflix has a big catalog, but maybe less in the future. I don't think Disney will be catching up to Netflix anytime in the near future. I mean, 140 million subscribers. Maybe, I don't know. I think HBO Max, because HBO has a bunch of subscribers, they're the player in this. They're the one that nobody's talking about, but they're going to hurt Disney when they show up. And quite frankly, I would rather watch Warner Brothers stuff. And if Warner Brothers could turn it around with DC, I mean, this is actually, you would think Disney is stronger than ever. No, Disney has peaked. We have achieved peak Star Wars. It will never, ever, ever be as big as it was in 2015. It'll be around, it'll be big, but we are way past the peak. The MCU, we just passed it with Endgame. They're smart in taking a little break, but their first movie after Endgame is Black Widow. So that's going to be around, but it's not going to be this massive thing that it was before. So something will take its place, and it could be DC if DC gets their crap together. But unfortunately, Jar Jar Abrams is going over there, and that's where we get to our other news here, which I know most people don't care about, and that's why we're not going to stay on it long. Because this, I have heard from my Star Trek insider on this, and I will say right now that Star Trek made a good move. They actually made a good move by getting Noah Hawley. Noah Hawley is a great writer. He wrote Fargo. He wrote Legion. He was writing a Doctor Doom film for Marvel, but I think they gave up on it. So this is a great hire. Whoops, I hit an ad. But here's the problem. They do not have money yet. So this is a funding move, again, like they did with Chris Pine and Chris Hemsworth. So they don't know what script they're going to use, but this is a good director who could probably make a good movie. Here's the deal. Even if this thing gets made, nobody will watch it. I mean, nobody cares about these characters. If they did, Star Trek Beyond would have done better. So what makes you think that attaching Noah Hawley, who I like, is going to bring more people back to the theater above what they did with Star Trek Beyond? This franchise is dead. It's dead as far as the Kelvin timeline. But, and I haven't talked to my insider about this, and I haven't talked to Tom or anybody. My guess is this is also a move by Bad Reboot to keep their fingers in Star Trek. So right now, Bad Reboot is controlling Star Trek, Star Wars for one more film, and the DC Universe, along with Westworld, and they have people in the Lord of the Rings TV series. So how in the hell did they get so much power? Well, I'll tell you. They took advantage of a producer who was on his way out named Harvey Weinstein. As far as influence, Weinstein's best days were behind him. So Hollywood sacrificed him for a great big power grab. What they did was they used a genuine movement, opportunized it. I can't talk right now. And used it to their benefit because these are opportunists. This is what they do. And again, this is just my opinion, but Bad Robot is everywhere. And one of the co-founders of the Time's Up era, I've said it before in my videos, is Mrs. J.J. Abrams. But I'm sure it's just a coincidence that they're in control of all of our major franchises. And all of these major franchises have been peppered with a partisan type of politics that really reeks of Hollywood elitism. Chris Pine and just jumped on me. Chris Pine and crew are expected to return for the 4th installment of the Paramount series. Paramount is beaming up a new captain for its Star Trek franchise. Noah Hawley who is best known for Fargo and Legion, will direct the next Trek film for the studio, The Hollywood Reporter confirmed. It is expected that Chris Pine will reprise his role as it's expected. He's not signed. So, yeah, there's that. Hang on. My insider told me something yesterday. Let me get on my phone real quick. Oh, there's Mrs. Nerdrotic. Yeah. My mic is jacked. She's telling me that people are commenting on my mic. Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Maybe there's something I can do about it. Hang on. And I'm going to... Give me just a moment. Hopefully that helped. If not, then I'll probably have to install new drivers. Okay, so we go back to this. It is expected that Chris Pine will reprise his role as Captain James T. Kirk alongside such castmates as Zachary Quinto and Zoe Saldana, who have been with the film since J.J. Abrams revamped the franchise back in 2009. By the way, that's 10 years ago. The fourth Star Trek stands separate from that Quentin Tarantino has been attached to for years. So it's not going to be Quentin Tarantino's script. Paramount have been developing a fourth installment after 2016 Star Trek Beyond and had hoped to be in production earlier this year. So we're going to have 4 movies in 12 years. I don't think anybody will watch this one. Listen, if it goes directly to CBS All Access, I can see something like that happening. S.J. Clarkson, who directed the canceled Game of Thrones prequel, was attached to helm Star Trek IV at the time and would have become the first woman director of the franchise history. Holly is respected mind in the genre space and won an outstanding miniseries Emmy for Fargo. He's brilliant. So if I would watch it if he did it, but I don't think anybody else would. I don't think anybody cares about Star Trek anymore, and that's that. Let's see what my guy said. All right. So essentially what this is it's the same thing that the Hemsworth, remember when Hemsworth was attached to Star Trek? It was a pitch fund. So we're announcing a movie, we have a name attached, but now we're looking for some cheddar, so we need some investors. They're not going to get it. Uh-oh. Looks like somebody's been ripping off some artwork for a Star Wars comic. That's not good. And then we need to get to Alan Moore. One moment. Hang on. Un momento. Oh, Vince Clorthal. He that up. Neon Shinobi for Australian $10. Thank you.
Listen to myself.
I appreciate
Hang
it.
on a second.
James McDonald joins. Star Trek Beyond would have done better. So what makes you return for the Oh, hang on. God damn it. This is what happens when we are going to the control panel. There we go. Yeah, this Mic is jacked. Okay. That should work. John Campy has screwed up my mic. Mike Bioman, welcome. Cosmic Squirrel. Check, check, check. One second. There. All right. Hopefully that should fix it. If not, I don't know what to say. We'll just keep going, but I can hear myself. 1 second. There we go. Cool, cool. Where was I? Okay. Das Bootman for a new membership. Welcome to the Proto Molecule level. And John Maciel for welcome to the Proto Molecule level. And Steve O for $4.99. Free super chats. Take my YouTube money. I will take it. Thanks for the cheddar, Steve O. More awesome metal for 10 pounds. Do you think that the real reason that they're trying to save episode 9 at all cost is essentially because they're trying to save the Galaxy's Edge theme parks in the first place? Yeah, I mean, they're not going to give up on the Galaxy's Edge theme parks. They're probably going to have to spend more money. They're going to have to add something to them because they're just boring. And even if there's one more ride, it's a giant section of Disneyland, which isn't big, by the way. It's a huge section of Disneyland dedicated to nothing. And the mall, for one, the stuff that they're selling isn't that great. Apparently there's some secret shop that you have to find that has all the cool collectibles. That's the dumbest idea I've ever heard. That is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Das Boot? There we go. There we go. Sorry, I lost a couple hundred viewers because of my stupid mic. Oh well. Thanks for all of you who hung in. Adam Child. Oh wow. It just jumped to me again. Sarah Cheney for $2. Did they bring in George Lucas to fix Skywalker? They are denying that. Or I don't think they've said anything, but there's other people denying that. But we saw George Lucas visit the set of The Mandalorian, so I would believe it. I would think that they're at a point where they need to ask him for help. And I have heard that, and I believe Doomcock has said that was one of Doomcock's rumors, and that's one I could believe. Like reshooting 75% of the film, no. Bringing in Lucas for help, yeah, I can see them doing that for sure. Steve O for $4.99. Thank you for the donation. Gretchen for $5. Hail Gary, I'd love to hear your response to Mike Stolz's time travel theory for the last Star Wars film. Gretchen, I will watch it. You mean from, I didn't know that was his last name. You mean Mike from Red Letter Media? I kind of, I believed it for a time. I don't think they're going to be doing it now. Now, you might get some flashback through force projection, but I don't think there'll be any real time travel. But I thought that video was great, and I would love to see the Emperor on a throne of dead Ewoks. The one thing I heard is we might possibly get, Ewoks in this film. Maybe in the background. I'm not sure where, but yeah. Thank you, Gretchen. Adam Child has a series of super chats here. $4.99. Hi, Gary. You're my favorite YouTube person. Why, thank you. Is the meetup for the comic sensation Soy Wars happening on opening night? Thanks for all you do. Yes. I will figure out where it is. But yes, I'll do a meetup for that night. I'll let you guys know where I'm seeing it, and we can all meet there. It's going to be in West Portal. Adam Child for $4.99. Is it hard for you to have all that Doctor Who stuff, knowing the state of Doctor Who? I'm so bad with the state of Doctor Who, I can't watch it. I was like that for about a year, Adam. This room used to be completely Doctor Who, and when the Jodie announcement came down and I knew what politics would come with it, I ripped everything down off the walls and put it in boxes. About a year later, I learned to separate New Who. As a matter of fact, seasons 9 to now don't exist for me at all. It pretty much ended with Capaldi's first season, and I'm out the door. Anything else, I like Big Finish. Big Finish it can be woke sometimes, but it's still pretty good. And I'm not going to let them take away my enjoyment of something that I liked, and I don't have to give them any money. I get everything secondhand, or I don't get anything at all. Adam Chow for $4.99. Take my money. Gary Love, proud member of the Gandalf and the One Ring Rule Them All tiers, because Gary is the best. Adam, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Gary needs to buy a new mic. Lady Mist for $5. Almost time for The Expanse. I know. All your to watch suggestions have been very good. You should make a go-to list that's worth watching. I will, Lady Mist. I have, you know what I can do? I can put that list on my website. Speaking of lists, as far as like microphone recommendations and stuff to start as YouTube, I have a Amazon account that Mrs. Nerdrotic helped me put together. And it's got like movie recommendations and equipment recommendations. Oh, I didn't want that. That's my website. I don't need to see what the hell? Oh, okay. Amazon Nerdrotic store. And let's see if... Oh, now I can't find it. I could find it easy yesterday, but now I can't find it. I'll find it later. But yes, that has some recommendations for my favorite shows and my favorite movies. But right now, I mean, it's pretty easy. Legion was pretty good with Noah Hawley. I liked Mr. Robot until the second to last episode, and I'm not even going to watch the rest. I knew they were going towards this, but Mr. Robot, this big cutting edge show, was just about a bad father. A bad father who abused his son in the worst kind of way. And I dipped. I'm like, screw you. Bye-bye. But I loved the first season of Westworld, hated the second season. Altered Carbon, I love. I was just watching today the movie Bright on Netflix. I love that movie, and because Will Smith is a complete idiot, it looks like Bright 2 is not going to happen. But to be honest with you, I don't think it would have been good because I really like the writing for Bright, and that's by Max Landis, who got Me Too'd out of Hollywood. But the writing was good. It was good. And I think it was kind of weird to mix Training Day with Lord of the Rings. So, more awesome metal for £10. Don't you think that the real reason Hollywood is such a state of decadence and acting is so lazily right now is because they don't have any other studios around the world to compete against them? Yes. Competition breeds innovation. But they do have competition now, and it's Silicon Valley. And also the companies are getting too big, so you're not far off the base there. More awesome metal. They don't have a lot of competition. Disney controls way too much, and it's not going to make anything much better. Love your show, Gary. 2,000 plus in the chat. Like the video. Thank you very much, and I'm sorry about the microphone issues. And thank you, everybody, for sticking with me. Thank you, Matt Gunn, for the 2 Canadian pesos. Oh, boy. Adam Child, are there AA meetings for sending super chats? I think I have an addiction on giving money to my favorite YouTubers. How do I get a Nerdrotic shirt? I will give you the link. I got to get this all worked out, but it's with Mixed Tees. Our boys from Popcast. There we go. Here's my Mixed Tees store where you can get a shirt. We're working on hats and other stuff, and that's going to be part of the GoFundMe store launch that I was going to do that today, but Anos's lawyer, I need to end my other, I have a GoFundMe that's still open for Anas Abdin, but I'm ending the campaign today, and then I'll start the new one, so I'll announce it Friday. But here's where you can get shirts, right here. Right there. Thank you for asking. Okay. It's a Trap Productions for $2. Love you, man, but your volume is very distorted. Yes. Hopefully I fix that. Paola RL. Hi, Gary. Have you been watching Mr. Robot? On its latest episode, it went fully woke. I was so disappointed. Now I am scared to watch anything. Yeah, I just talked about that. I quit the show with one episode to go. I just went, F you. It was such a setup. And they might have been going that way the whole time, but I thought this show was better than that. I thought it was smarter than that. But Sam Esmail just shows, especially with Homecoming, which was boring as hell, that he's all style. And you know what? He had a good first season, and the rest is a waste of time. So don't waste your time with Mr. Robot. And that sucks because I like Christian Slater, and I wanted him to be in something good, and it wasn't. So yeah, screw Mr. Robot, Paola. Thank you for the $4.99. Andreas and Aline for £2. Why have you not done the Boys review? I did a review of the first episode. It's on Nerdrotic Live when I saw it early. I find it very difficult to do reviews for streaming services because I have to review an entire season in one video. And my video would be 3 hours long, the way I review. What I do is I talk about 5 or 6 minute clips of each episode. And if I did that with an entire season, I haven't really cracked that yet. But I will do one on Nerdrotic Live before the end of the year. But I should have. I wish they would have released it weekly. But yeah, I can, you know what? The thing is, Andreas, those things take a lot of time. They take a lot of time, but I should do one. I should, especially since I'm in the comic and I know one of the co-creators. I owe him that. It took me 3 viewings to like it, though. I'll be honest with you. I was like, not too sure at first because I was so wrapped up into the source material. I love the comic. And it's a lot different from the comic. But I learned to appreciate it. So I like it a lot now. The Substitute 3 for £2. Watched first 2 episodes of The Mandalorian. Second episode was bad. A lot of people felt that way. I won't say it was great. I don't know about bad, but Ryan Cannell will agree with you. Darkstar76 for $2. Rewatching Expanse. God damn, this show is the best. It is. It is the best. It is better than The Mandalorian by far. It's better than Star Wars. It's better than Star Trek. It's better than Doctor Who. It's better than a lot of shit right now. The Mandalorian is Rey's father. Hail Mary Sue. Oh, man. You know why I stopped? Because I'm like, oh, no. No, and he's a clone, and yeah. You might not be wrong. And he ends up, like, dead. Do we find out at the end of season 2, or do we see them reunited? Does she save him? Yeah, I don't know. That's actually kind of a good idea, so I know they won't use it. Aluvian Imakara for $2. Star Trek 4 will only show even more that STD is JJ Trek. Yes, it will. And I think it's a way to keep the licensing around. I got to hear more from my insider on this. I got to talk to the guys at Midnight's Edge and Doomcock about this too. I don't know what my take is. I like Noah Hawley a lot. I think he's a great writer. It sucks to see him on freaking Kelvin Trek. Gary, sorry to bother you about this again, but you're not bothering me, but will you have a chance to respond to my email from 2 weeks ago since I just did a $50 pledge? I will do my best. You know what? I'll reply to it after the live stream. Thank you. Thank you, my friend. Sorry I haven't replied sooner. Steve Glasker for $9.99. Hey, Gary, love your channel. Thank you and the other YouTubers for inspiring me to start my own YouTube channel in my name. Good. Well done, Steve. You don't have to, but I'd greatly appreciate a shout out. If not, no worries. Oh, man, come on. It's the least I can do. We're going to go to your channel right now. And hang on just a second. That was weird. Hang on. There we go. Now we're going to open this up in a new window. There we go. What do you mean something went wrong? Yeah, it's not coming up for me, Steven, for some reason. Is it your name? I'll check it out real quick. There it is. I got it. There we go. That's weird that the link wouldn't let me do that. But here you go. This is Steven Glasker's channel. Why don't you go give it a look? He's just started it out. Boom. There's your shout out. Thank you. Nina Fabiano for $2. You are barely audible. I think I fixed that now, right? So here, let me just double check. No, I'm fine. That's fine. I can hear myself. I reduced the gain. See, I think what happened was there's a volume tab on this, and I think I turned it up too high. And there's no way for me to tell. I actually should be doing this with headphones on, and that's part of the reason, kids, why you should live stream with headphones on. Because then I would know. Drew Boss for $5. Big fan, Gary. Keep up the good work. Why, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it. I will try. I will do my best. Tyson McFarland for $5. We need to vote with our wallets and not see this movie. You need to not see Knives Out. And if you are really pissed at Disney Star Wars, I mean, yeah, find other ways to see the movie. I mean, do you really need to see it? If honestly, and yeah, I'm being real with this. If I didn't have this channel, I would not see The Rise of Skywalker. I wouldn't go. I am that pissed off about Luke. I'm so pissed off, I don't care anymore. I simply, Star Wars is nothing to me. And it used to be my favorite franchise. You know, if I was still a Star Wars fan, Gentle Giant makes these huge versions of the original action figures. I know I don't care about Star Wars anymore because I don't want to buy those. And those are in my wheelhouse. As a matter of fact, I've gotten all of their other ones, their DC ones, and it's just 12-inch versions of the original, 3-inch action figures or however big they were. I would own all of them. There was no way I couldn't. So I know my connection has been severed with Star Wars because I don't want like Bespin Luke at 12. I mean, that would be the perfect thing for me. And because I don't want that, proves that what they did to Luke, they didn't need to do. It was deliberate. They went out of their way narratively to F with one of the greatest characters because Disney doesn't care about this character and they don't want you to care. Disney took the risk. It's like, yeah, we're going to piss off a lot of fans. They knew what they were doing. This wasn't an accident. They knew, yep, we're going to piss off some new fans, but we'll eventually get newer ones in the future. Showing that they don't, for Disney of all places, doesn't understand fandom at all. And doesn't understand that the legacy counts to us. And even these new fans you're talking about, they give a shit about Luke too. Some of them just don't know it yet. But once they watch the original ones, they're going to go, wait a minute. Why did you do this to this character? And we're not going to get, I think the screen time Luke is going to get is going to be equal to Obi-Wan's in Return of the Jedi. So how happy does that make you? There'll be no Leia. There'll be no Luke, no Han. No wonder why they're freaking out. And they had to bring back the Emperor. Oh, and the Emperor is going to be some radio-controlled clone? That's what he was in Return of the Jedi, according to the Reddit leaks, which is the dumbest idea. Oh, I hope they do that one. Please do that one, because that would truly piss off the rest of the fandom. And for those of you going, why are you rooting for Star Wars to fail, Gary? Because I don't want this crap to continue. I want Star Wars overall to be good, but this film, yeah, kind of rooting for it to fail. I am. I mean, if it's good, I'll admit it. But my pom-poms are out. Yeah, I'm not lying on that one. F-A-I-L, fail, fail, fail. Please. Guy Gorgon Games for $10. Hope you're having a good day. Been watching your channel for a few months now, and you're the first person I've ever donated to. Wow. Thank you for all you do. Guy Gorgon. Am I saying that right? Thank you. I appreciate the $10, the 10 hard-earned dollars. This is your hard-earned money. I appreciate it. I do. Disney, they take you for granted. They expect you to give them the money. As a matter of fact, they tried, like the whole Skywalker saga bullshit was thought up to make Star Wars FOMO, fear of missing out. That's all. You're going to miss the end of the Skywalker. Are you sure you're mad about Last Jedi? You won't, because you sure? Because you might miss the end of the Skywalker saga. That's going to work for a weekend. And then the fans are going to go, Skywalker saga. Wouldn't the Skywalker sagas need Skywalkers? And I'm not talking about family relations that have different last names. I'm talking about actual Skywalkers. People with the last name of Skywalker. And that was Anakin and Luke. There is no Skywalkers at the end of the Skywalker. And a Force Ghost is still a dead Skywalker. And frickin' Rey taking the Skywalker name at the end, you know what that does? Palpatine victorious. Because if he's Palpatine's granddaughter, and then she takes over the Skywalker name, however good her intentions is, his legacy lives on. He wins. It's stupid, right? Ugh. Have some free money from YouTube from Rose Fenwick. Thank you. Oh, Ross. Sorry, Ross. My apologies. Greg Garrow Jr. Thank you for signing up at the proto-molecule level. Takuforts. Who would win in a fight? An Ewok or Rian Johnson? Oh, an Ewok. Oh, God, yes. Also, there are no Star Wars toys in any toy stores near me except for Star Wars Legos. Sad times. That is sad times. Freaking Legos. You ever step on those things in the middle of the night? Pooh. I think I'd rather get shot. Hang on. I was going to get back to that. Here we go. God, do I have to really go to Bleeding Cool? I don't want to go to Bleeding Cool. I can't find it now. Okay, so I'm not going to read it. I don't want to give him the love anyway. So Alan Moore took to his blog to basically he said the first superhero film was Birth of a Nation. I mean, this is stuff he's always thought. The Hooded Justice being the first superhero, I don't think it's very subtle imagery. I think people kind of are figuring out who the Hooded Justice is. The interesting thing is Alan Moore was using his philosophy that the first superhero film in America was Birth of a Nation, and that's why the Hooded Justice looks like he does. And David Lindelof is gonna put a black man in that costume. Yep. So at least that's the way it looks from Watchmen. So basically, you are all the bad Germans from World War II if you like superheroes. If you are a superhero fan, you are in arrested development. He fears for fandom. He said comics were made for 12 and 13-year-olds. And yeah, basically he pissed all over fandom. Now, this is Alan Moore. Alan Moore is a genius writer. I'm not going to go throw away his books. This is the way he's always been. But he hates this country. He hates America. He hates his own country. He hates fandom. He hates himself. He hates ice cream. And he hates puppies. And he's a wizard. That's Alan Moore. So, but the more important thing is not what Alan Moore said. That's Alan Moore. The dude is a very unhappy individual. Unfortunately, people who are hyper creative, like creatively genius, most of them are. Picasso, wacky, Van Gogh was crazy. I mean, it sucks. It's bad, but that kind of goes along with being hyper creative. But the thing is, he's also a comic book writer, Alan Moore is, and that's how the rest of them think of you. Even the ones who write superheroes every day. Sorry. But yes, and there's one very famous one who refers to all of us as mouth breathers, as I've said before. And there's it's a self-loathing industry, the comic book industry. Always has been. It's never respected itself. People always have one foot out the door, and people, long gone are the days of people just writing comics because they love comics. And honestly, this is the first time in my life I haven't liked the industry either. It's gotten so foul. It's filled with so many foul people. And that's why it's fighting this front with Hollywood is easier because comics are lost. And I don't want Hollywood's bad enough. It doesn't need to get as bad as the comic, because the comic book industry is worse. It's much worse. People like Mark Waid still have influence in the comic industry. And if that guy wasn't a comic book writer, yeah, I don't know if he'd be employable, the way his temper is and stuff. Yeah. It's just bad. They don't represent the industry well. And the people who were in charge, like Joe Quesada and stuff, didn't do anything about it. And well, it cost them their jobs. Reggie the Pet Snake for $2. Tyson McFarland for $10. Reggie the Pet Snake, thank you for the $2 donation. Sorry, didn't mean to rush past it. Tyson McFarland for $10. Who, in your opinion, has done the single most damage to Star Wars? That is a good question. I'm going to have to say Kathleen Kennedy because she made the decisions. The second person is Jar Jar Abrams. It's not Rian Johnson. And I'm kind of predicting that because it's what he's going to do. It's what he's done. Bringing back Palpatine is as bad as Luke Skywalker drinking booby milk. It's as bad. And tossing his lightsaber. Lady Miss. But Kathleen Kennedy, at Disney. The real answer to that, Tyson, is George Lucas. But it's his to ruin. So I can respect that. I don't respect Kathleen Kennedy anymore. And I never respected Rian Johnson, although I didn't hate the guy. But I think he has a very, very high opinion of himself, along with every other director in Hollywood. And Jar Jar Abrams is somebody I have soured on that I used to like. But now that now that I understand what he's about, not a fan. Lady Mist, it's that big ship sparked on the dark side of Neptune that's messing with all of our satellites and YouTube this evening. Just ignore them. I'll try. Thank you for the $5. Woke Cho for $2. I was warning people Mr. Robot was bad robot. Yep. You're not wrong. It's another one of those situations where I'm going to have to go on my channel and apologize to people for recommending him this show. As a matter of fact, that will be a car video later today. I think that's a good car video. I'll go rant about Mr. Robot after this live stream. Saruin of House Roundhead for $4.99. When you get a chance, Collider's video called Deep Fake Roundtable. It's his great impressions of George Lucas, Jeff Goldblum, and others. I love those videos, but as I was about to watch that one, Saruin of House Roundhead, I remembered Collider calling us all toxic fans, and I didn't give him a click. I'm going to treat Collider just like I treat Disney. Maybe if I hear a little bit of an apology, I'll go and give you my click. I already gave you one for the George Lucas deep fake cut, and it was good, but I'm not going to forget what you've said about many of us in your broad generalizations, and now you want to temper that back a little bit. Collider, get screwed. Dunnigan Kruger but thank you, Sorona House Roundhead. I would love to see it, but I can't support them. I can't. Dunig Kruger, welcome to the Jaloja level. Thank you very much. Dragon Loki for $1.99. I love Mando, but heavily biased. Boba, Baby Yoda for the win. Baby Yoda's cute. I'm not going to, I mean, like, that's like not liking puppies, okay? It's a practical effect. It's cute, especially when it's trying to use the Force. Come on, I mean, like, I'm not heartless. Just mostly. Casey Osowski, am I saying it right? Osowski for $5. Thanks for all the great content and the joy it brings. Why, thank you. I hope oh my God, if I bring some joy, that's great. Sarcasm and mockery can be funny. It can be funny. Andreas Alin for £10. Oh, please do the boys review as I want to know what you think. Also, the best comics I've ever read and I loved is also the best comic I ever read, and I love the series even with the changes. But Homelander actor was amazing. He was absolutely amazing. Yes, I will do it. And in case I have, well, I can't reach it right now. I have the original art from the issue. I am in issue 23 on page 2. I'm also in issue 37, where I'm on the bridge right before, I'm on the bridge. I don't want to spoil anything. I almost spoiled something from the show. I'm on a bridge, in a suit. Modalicious for $2. Just started my channel. Only one vid so far. Well, good, Modalicious. Here, let's, for some reason I can't go to channels from here. That's crazy. I'll check it out, Modalicious, if I can find it quickly. There. I'm subscribed. How's that? Boom. I see the one video. I see it. Okay. Matthew Matson, what's up, my friend? And patron for $1.99. Hail, Gary. Vote with the money. Fandom Menace for all. Yes. And Kathleen Kennedy's comment validated everything we've been saying. That she isn't the right person for the job. She should have been fired a long time ago. That's all we've been saying. And her priority was diversity. So this is a woman that can clearly produce films. She's very good at it. She's very good at organizing, making sure creatives have what they need, but she's not a creative person in any way, shape, or form. And you do not make that kind of a person a leader of a franchise. That person can be a CEO, like Kathleen Kennedy could, if you're organized and stuff, you can be a CEO, but you got to have somewhat of a creative mind if you are in charge of a franchise. You can't be just good at organizing and was a good organizer for Better Creative Minds all your life. You had to have shown, like, has she written anything? Has she, anything? Is she an artist? Does she know how to paint? Can she doodle? Can she do any of that shit? Or can she just count some beans and organize, get the right people in the right room? And how come she's fired so many directors? Modalicious, Disney can get sodomized with a dry splintered 2x4, says Modalicious for $2. Hold back there. Don't hold back, buddy. Tell us what you think. Red Pill, 78 for $10. Really enjoy your channel and your perspective, Gary. It's my mental sorbet after days of political commentary. And please do a show on the boys. Loved season 1. Okay, done. Callum Finch Ellis for £2. Mandalorian, been step healing fan with the Mandalore, been step healing fan. What thinks DS Yoda? What do I think of the Yoda? I think the Yoda's cute. I think Mandalorian will turn into Disney Star Wars. That's what I think will happen. I could be wrong though. Antonio Cardenas for $5. Hunter Biden is Baby Yoda's father. Callum Finch Ellis for £2. Mandalorian been step healing. This is it again. And that is, yeah. I don't even know what that means. Mandalore been step healing fan. What think DS Yoda? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Professor Thascalis for $10. Hey Gary, keep up the great work. I have a professional mic, never used Blue Yeti Silver Edition mic only. I would be happy to give it to you. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm actually going to get, I appreciate but no, keep it. Keep it for yourself. I'm going to be getting another Rode. I'm just going to go XLR and get a soundboard. But thank you. Barry Giegler for $5. Woke prediction. Poe Dameron will wear Leia's slave outfit in Rise of Skywalker and will seduce Finn and to Rose Tico's frustration. Yes. That I would call that an official rumor. Let's run with it. I'll make a video. Grimy for Australian $5. I thought it was sexist for women to take a man's surname. Maybe. You know what? I thought so too. But well, you know what? You got to look at it this way, Grimy. It's taken Princess Leia's surname. Or well, no, that's because it's Leia Organa. It's not Skywalker. So yeah, that's a good point. Larry, $5. Here's my graphic novel money. Say hello to Mrs. Nerdrotic. She is listening. You just said hello to her. Hail, Mrs. Nerdrotic. And you lucky bee. Can't wait to see and support your online, then your brick and mortar shop. Why, thank you, Larry. And that will be 2 days away from the announcement. I need to actually write it, but yeah, it's happening. RR for $19.99. Wow, thank you for the super chat. RR. Hail, Gary. I read Alan Moore's comment, and I think he made some interesting points in the beginning, but the blanket, yes, he did. He actually did. But the blanket derogatory statements about comic book fans was rude and invalidated any points that he could have been explored. Yep. He don't like you, and he doesn't like me. And you know what? I don't like him, but I can read his books. I wouldn't hang out with the dude. Listen, I'm not here to judge anybody. I believe in UFOs, but I think a 65-year-old man who thinks he's a wizard didn't have a happy life. Maybe something happened to him when he was a kid. Maybe we need to blame his parents. I don't know. Per Auducia de Ignotum, $5. They killed Luke for the same reason they killed John Connor. The future is female. Exactly that reason. I thought Terminator Dark Fate was a perfect example of what Hollywood has done in general. And the analogy that Rian Johnson, J.J. Abrams, Chris Chibnall, Alex Kurtzman are Terminators sent from the present to terminate the John Connors of our franchises. Yeah. Smooth Jam California for £5. Half, I'll tell you how Lucasfilm could possibly save Star Wars. They cancel all the films in production and give Star Wars a break for 8 years. Then come back with a serious attempt at a new movie in 2027, just in time for the franchise's 50th anniversary. Thoughts? That would be, yes, I would love that idea. It's not like they wouldn't make their money back. It's not like Disney couldn't sit on the franchise for 8 years and just let it breathe. Basically skip a generation, because at this point you're starting from scratch anyway. All the money they were going to get out of nostalgia, they've gotten. I don't know how much blood they could squeeze out of that turnip. I guess the best way to describe Star Wars visually, I'm gonna verbally describe it to you. But remember the lightsabers when they first started licensing. There was bootleg lightsabers out there that were great, but when they first started licensing them, like they were beautiful, they were brilliant, and that's what Star Wars was. And what it is now is that cheap plastic one that you saw in World Class Bullshitters video. That's basically a flashlight that doesn't work. That's what Star Wars is now. It's a great visual representation of what it is now. Antonio Cardenas, thank you for signing up to the Joloja level. Welcome. David Allen for $10. Here's money for the boys review, please. Okay. Thank you. It will be done. But I have to watch the show again one more time. So hopefully this weekend we can do it live. We'll do it live. AJ1218 for $2. Who is your guilty pleasure YouTube channel? Ooh. So the one I don't, Preston Jacobs. He does a Song of Ice and Fire theories. He breaks down the chapters, and he's got a running theory of what is going on in the Song of Ice and Fire that I think is so far off. It's funny, but I've been listening to his videos for so long, I'm starting to drink the Kool-Aid and think he's right. But yeah, Preston Jacobs. I think Preston Jacobs is the kind of guy who would hate my content, like hate it. But I like the channel because I'm big Song of Ice and Fire fan still, unfortunately. But that's the guilty one. And Emergency Awesome. I watch all of Charlie's videos. But, you know, my unguilty pleasures are Mahler, The Critical Drinker, Bowles Trek, Geeks and Gamers, World Class Bullshitters, Mindless Entertainment, That Star Wars Girl, Mecha Round of 42, Midnight's Edge, Midnight's Edge After Dark, Doomcock, John Talks, SE Reviews, RK Outpost, Geeky Candy, Mary Mayhem. I'm trying to remember everybody. Author Stephen Walton, The Fourth Wave. Yeah, all these, the Fandom Menace, basically. But I listen also the Men of the West, which is a Lord of the Rings lore channel. That's great too. They're great. So Entertainment Magazine covers leaving out Yoda. Yes, they're anti-Yodas. They're obviously anti-Yodas. Yeah, I don't know why they would leave out Yoda. Of all characters to leave out, Yoda. You can't tell me they just forgot. There must be a reason for that. That's weird. Callum Finch Ellis for £2. Dark Side Yoda 1,000 years. Thank YouTube doubled first one. Oh, sorry. Dark Side Yoda. Dark Side. I'm an idiot. Thank you, Callum. I'm sorry. I wish I could refund you. But Callum, I'll say thank you again. I appreciate you. Some nobody. If it's a Dark Side Yoda, that would be interesting, told over 3 movies, but this is J.J. Abrams. I hope I've been trying to warn you. So I know a lot of you listen to my every word. Okay. No, believe me, Mrs. Nerdrotic doesn't listen to my every word. But Jar Jar Abrams is a snake oil salesman as far as telling a story. It's a pyramid scheme. The mystery box is bullshit. It's about not giving you information. He's about See, this is why he's perfect for television, and he made people in television so much money. But he's not really good for cinema. He's really good at building up these pretentious, grandiose ideas that he never intends to pay off. But he keeps you watching. It keeps you watching. Damon Lindeldick is good at that too. Alex Kurtzman just sucks. I mean, he's terrible at everything. He can't even do mystery box right. So what you're going to get is they're going to have a thing, and this thing is going to take them to places, and they're going to go on this wild goose chase while nothing happens. So this thing is leading me to this place, and we're going to get into a fight and then get into the ship, and then we're going to counter somebody, and we need another thing that's going to take us to another place. Then we're going to get a major revelation that Palpatine is back without a single hint, without a single bit of foreshadowing, which you're supposed to do narratively in the previous 2 films. Now, they might make something up, but believe me, this was not their plan. That is bullshit. They were not planning on bringing Palpatine back for 10 years. So you're going to get Palpatine at the end. And you're going to get an information dump, and they're going to tell you all these secrets of Star Wars in the last 10 minutes of the film, and you're going to walk out thinking you just saw wow, my mind is blown. We got so much information. But then they're not going to answer where Snoke came from. Or why Kylo Ren emulated his grandfather so much. I mean, I haven't seen a good reason why. I just see that he dresses like him. But there's no, and we saw so he had one relic for 5 seconds. That's J.J. Abrams' storytelling. So he has one messed up Darth Vader mask for 5 seconds in a scene in The Force Awakens. He's all, what? That was character development. Maybe that's 2019 character development. Maybe I'm just an old fart. I'll keep that in mind. And thank God. If I had Snapchat and cell phones when I was younger, I'd be dead. I'd be able to find my cocaine easier, and I'd be dead. The one good thing about the 80s were drugs were really hard to get. Extremely hard to get. Thanks for agreeing to review The Boys. I've been waiting for your review since I first watched the show in July. Wow. These are things I don't know. But I feel like I owe it a proper review. So maybe I'll do a live stream, but then I'll do a proper video one. If you guys want it, yes. This is me listening to you. And I'll use the word friends. We're friends. I don't know about viewers, friends. That's a good term. No one I follow has done the Boys review. I just wanted to pay a bit more attention to make sure. I'll do it. It's because they dumped it all at once. It makes it very difficult to review. I'm going to defend my fellow YouTubers on that. We have to cover the entire show, and there's so much going on in that show. It would have been, listen, Amazon, drop the goddamn thing weekly. Boys needs to be dropped weekly. It's too dense of a show to be dropped all at once. People phase out of parts and stuff. People pay attention more when the show is weekly. You can always binge it later. But when you're releasing a TV show, if you want people, Boys would have been the biggest show of the year if Amazon had released it weekly. It would be the water cooler show. It would be the next Game of Thrones, but freaking Amazon effed up and dropped it all at once, and they're going to do the same thing with The Expanse. So I need you to go on Twitter and bug Amazon every goddamn day to not release The Expanse all at once, or you'll kill the show. Nobody will talk about it. It'll be forgotten about in a month. And The Boys should still be talked about at this point, but it's not because of this stupid binge model, which is just ridiculously dumb. And it just shows that the people in charge aren't really that bright. Kathleen Kennedy is a great example. They're giving up millions of dollars of free advertising. For what? Because they want to be like Netflix? It's not a good model. Netflix is even exploring getting rid of it. It's not a good model. If you want people to say, it's easy to, okay, simplest terms. I could subscribe for The Boys, watch it in a weekend, and unsubscribe. But when it's premiering, and if you release it weekly, you at least force people to be subscribed to your service for 2 to 3 months. They're more likely to forget. Dummies. I have been kicked out of 3 high schools. The only smart thing I've done is own a comic shop. And I know this is right. You guys are idiots. Not you guys. They're freaking idiots. I want to watch everything streaming. Don't listen to the people who want to watch stuff all at once. Okay? They're not good consumers. They're not consumers you want to listen to. Canadian Highlander, thank you for the new member. I mean, you can always stream it. Just not up front. That being said, though, I think that rule should be for hour shows. I don't know about half-hour shows. I'd be willing to bend on the half-hour show. Maybe drop those all at once. Like the Venture Brothers. If they dropped the Venture Brothers all at once, but it's still, that wouldn't have lasted. The Venture Brothers wouldn't be around if it was dropped all at once, which is by the way, folks, one of the best shows ever is the Venture Brothers. So Canadian Highlander, thank you for joining up in the Jaloja level. Shucksy, thank you again for the $5 super chat. And Andreas, thank you again. I think we're all going to have to settle for the fact that the ideas in the Watchmen are smarter than Alan is. Strange, it has to be like that, but oh well. Some nobody, that is a great statement. And that is the case for Star Wars too. I'm just about to give a huge compliment to the kids who are into the EU. You have more knowledge than I think the creator of this series does now. I think it has grown beyond him. And I think the ideas from the EU that has been cultivated by the fans are better than anything George could come up with. I think that's clear. I think that's a fact. So that's why franchises, Bob Iger, if he wanted to continue making millions and billions off of Star Wars, all he had to do was take his time. Sure, you could screw up on some stuff, and obviously people will forgive you. But attacking fandoms and weaponizing the access media to attack fandoms, we're not going to forget that shit. We're not going to forget that shit. There's not some half-hour live-action, really good cartoon that's going to make me forget that. All right, I'm going to just make sure I didn't miss any super chats here. Double check it. And again, I'm sorry about the mic today. That one came out of nowhere. But lesson learned. Wear headphones. Wear headphones. Let's see how it sounds now. Check. Yeah, it sounds okay. That sounds better. All right. I don't think I missed any. If I did miss any, I will shout them out on Friday. So the next live stream is going to be tomorrow on Nerdrotic Live, the Exozone with Dictor Van Doomcock. We are going to talk about, I think we're going to bring up there was an article recently in the Daily Mail about the Tic Tac UFO. I'm brain farting there. And what's going on with that. So that's our paranormal UFO show that I do with Doomcock. We do it on our alternate channels because it adversely affects. When you talk about UFOs, it's always bad on YouTube now, which sucks. So I have a channel called Nerdrotic Live. If you want to subscribe there, that's where this live stream will be once it's done processing, because I'm going to unlist it. Thank you to all the new subscribers. I think we're getting close to 170,000, which is awesome. I believe my good friend Doomcock's about to hit 100,000, so be sure to show him some love. And thank you for all the new memberships. And thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for participating. I will see you all Friday night with, for sure, we're going to have Comics Division and Odin's Movie Blog. Hopefully we have Jeremy's never obligated for Friday, but he manages to show up, which is great. So we'll probably have Jeremy, hopefully Anti-Trekker, and we'll see who else is in there. And everybody, have a great day, and remember, not all who wander are lost.
Nerdrotic.com